Good day and welcome to another wonderful section of Thinkers Tank podcast. And my name is Mr. Vix, and by my right is
Morex.
Okay, Morex. So you all are welcome, and we are officially welcoming you all to the first section, which is going to be a very amazing section of Thinkers Tank podcast in 2026. Okay, so today we'll be starting with a very important topic. And the topic is not like a topic per se. It's like a question that we all need to know and answer. We all need to have an idea on, because they say what you don't know is bigger than you. And also there are a lot of things that we might know that we think is maybe normal or right or so, but it's none of those. Because of all these facts, today we'll be starting with a very candid, important and non-ignorable topic, which is in a form of question, and which is what? Should our history be taught or forgotten? Now, using Africa as an example now, because we are all Africans, and I'm sure many people watching this now should be Africans. So, using Africa as an example, we want to come up with this question, because if we check the whole of history books, Africa seems to have one of the most, sad history, because we're cheated in history. We are the most cheated continent in history books. So now, because of this fact, we want to talk about this topic that says what? Should history be taught or forgotten? So let me ask my colleague now. So all my guests, my everyday guests, should history be taught or forgotten? Do you feel or think that history should be taught or forgotten?
Okay, thank you. I personally am of the opinion that history should not only be taught, but should be an important, if not the most important part of our day-to-day learning in schools and everywhere, even in churches, in mosques, and in every organization. I believe history should be an integral part of their teachings.
Okay, that's nice, and that's your own belief. Okay. But if you ask somebody like me, I don't think history should be taught, especially the African history, to Africans, maybe the children and so on. And I have my reasons. And the reason why I say that is because of the nature of our history. Anybody you teach that kind of history, you tell them stuff like that about themselves concerning our history now, as an example. It always makes their self-esteem to drop their self-esteem. You can see a black child now, maybe that grew up in a rich family, for example. Since he has a worker, his father is rich and so on, you have confidence and all that. But then when you look at our history and what maybe when our history is being taught to that person, one way or the other, the person will now become less confident in front of or maybe other racial countries, like maybe the US, for example. If you drop a white man and a black man, or if you drop a white man and a black man without knowledge of their history, that black man will be more confident than somebody that has full knowledge of their history. So, and also apart from that one is that we as Africans have been cheated in time past, right?
Yeah.
They have stolen our resources, colonized us. Even up to now, we are still under neocolonialism and all that. So, we as Africans, we don't need history anymore, because our history, we really actually have nothing to learn from it.
No,
to be sincere, because
I strongly oppose that though.
There's nothing to learn. Reading history is just like what they used to tell us in school. read to know.
No.
But there's nothing like read to learn, because if I would ask you now,
Okay.
from your history,
Yeah.
what do you think somebody can read from or understand about it as an African man and then learn?
Okay. Let me start by saying political structure.
Our political structure.
Yes. Most of the reason why we have a faulty political structure in Africa is because we have not gone back to our original political structure. So somebody who studied history very well will understand that this democracy that we are celebrating in Africa is not for us.
Our original political structure.
Yes, our original political structure in Africa is more of a communist political structure, whereby the community owns and control the means of economy in the favor of the people. Like in the Yoruba land now, we had empire, we had the Oyo Empire, which was so powerful. And in the Oyo Empire, if you check it very well, they had a very good system of government that is decentralized. A decentralized system of government that has different kind of leaders, rulership, age grades, and everything. The military, everything is sorted out the way it's supposed to be. But because people don't study their history, they don't know how they have been governed. Look at the Benin. The Benin people has one of the richest history in humankind. When I say, I'm not saying in Africa, in humankind, the Benin people have one of the richest, the oldest art. The North art is a Benin art. They are the king of art. But you said, you talked about self-esteem. No. History in reverse increases people's self-esteem. How does that happen? Imagine a child that for all of his life have seen somebody with a pale face, as one of my teachers always like to call them. I've seen those people as a replica of God. I've always seen the Jesus with wool, with the long hair and the blue eyes as Jesus. But you come to that child and you teach that child and let that child know that that is not Jesus. Jesus was never like that. Jesus was a Middle East man, and Middle East were Africans. Till they dug the Suez Canal, the Middle East were Africans. So when they gave back to Jesus, Jesus Christ was an African. And you teach that child that this is not what Jesus is. This is just a replica that was painted during the Renaissance. You let them know that this is the person who painted this picture. This picture never existed. You've helped that child to stop looking at human being like himself as the replica of God and looking at himself, that's him, as a replica of the devil. Take for instance now in the church, if they want to act movie about Jesus and the devil in the church, the devil is always the very black guy, very dark man. The very black guy is always the devil. And if they can't get somebody black, they paint them black. This is all streets and they wear black robes for them. But when they want to act Jesus, they look for somebody to wear a white robe. They look for a very fair guy to wear a white robe. Then they put wig on them. Those are caricatures. Those are rubbish. So when people learn the history correctly, they'll be able to know that this is not how Jesus looked. This is not how the devil looked. The devil was an angel. If angels is as white as snow, then the devil is also as white as snow. So that is how it is. Then when you let a child know that he is the aboriginal, I don't think that should affect the child confidence, but rather boost the child confidence that he is the first human. It is a thing of joy. It is a thing of pride. Let's go further to something like infrastructure.
This all these points I'm giving.
Yes.
Are just parts of history.
No, it's not parts.
It's just like the genesis of
history is wild. I get what you're okay. Like let's say for instance now, what you're trying to say is that the dark history, like the sad ones, like maybe probably the slave trade. Now,
which is the most part of
the problem is most of the teachers of history do not teach it correctly or do not start from the genesis. They only pick the middle part that seems a bit emotional. Then they teach people to evoke emotions. That is the wrong kind of teaching. That is the wrong kind of history. But when we say the African history needs to be taught because it is the richest history in the world. Now, have you ever known that Congo, the Republic of Congo, that is now spelled DR Congo, is the richest land in humankind? Is the richest land in humankind. It has a natural resources that is over $30 trillion US. Congo has natural resources that is over that amount. But a lot of people don't know, and their leaders know. They keep exploiting it. But imagine you now calling all the youth in that country, teaching them to know what they possess. Now look at the kind of power you've given those people to challenge authorities, to fight their government. That why do we have this much resources in this country and we are still one of the poorest country in the world? So when you teach people their history, you let them understand who they are. Let's take for example now, let's go back to people like in the Bible. Let me use that as an example. Let me use someone like Moses in the Bible. Do you know why Moses had the guts to fight the leadership in Egypt according to the Bible? To say, let my people go. Do you know why? Because he had someone who showed him who he was, who made him understand that you are not an Egyptian, you are an Israelite. So that was the nationalism that grew up in him, that, oh, so I'm not an Egyptian, I was only brought to this place by these circumstances, which was explained in the Bible. Until Moses was taught about his history, he did not know that he had that kind of power in him. But the history that Moses learned gave him a power that he already has. That is how powerful history is. It's going to evoke your inner man. Then you do things that are beyond your own comprehension. So because he knew that I'm not these people, I'm these people, he could start fighting for his own people. Then it felt strange to people around that, this guy that is always living in the palace is now fighting us. Then he could also gather armies, then say that his people should go. So history not only increases self-esteem, it builds nationalism and it builds patriots
when taught properly,
yes,
or completely.
Yes.
Because like you said now, we have all these parts are saying is the human esteem building parts.
Yes, that you mentioned.
And then they are also part of the history that are demoralizing, that demoralize someone's self-esteem. I
feel the part of history demoralizing,
because that's the part that is so that's the part that is more popular. Because if you watch our pro-Africans today, the only part they keep talking about, they keep making videos about, is the part where black was cheated. Now,
do you know that part can never be jumped when you want to teach the black history? Now, the thing
that's the exact reason why somebody like me would say
you can't forget it.
Somebody like me would say
you should forget it, right?
We don't need to really teach it.
Now, what happens? Why I said you can't skip that part?
Well, we shouldn't skip that part.
We can't.
Because we can't.
No, we can't. The reason why we cannot skip that part is because that part is still playing out till today. We still play out till eternity. That part is 400 years of our lives. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 400 years of our lives. That is that part. Now, we all know that it is easier to break than to build. Now, what was destroyed for 400 years, constantly, every day, every minute, every hour, every second, for 400 good years? How do you expect people to just forget it and move on with it when that 400 years damage is still affecting them till date?
Okay, you get the point of forgetting. I'm saying, I'm not saying we should forget what was done.
We should stop telling people.
We should stop telling our children.
Why?
At least that's part of history.
Okay, wait. Let me.
At least that part of history.
Let me.
Should not, because somebody like me now, growing up learning history in school, that was the part that was taught the most.
Okay, let me.
Until I became wiser, that's when I started knowing stuff like the human aboriginals, the white skin is gotten from black skin. Jesus Christ, as they say, is not a white man. All those ones are not taught in history in school.
Now,
so if those parts will not be taught in history, then it shouldn't be taught at all, because you can't be training your kids, younger ones coming up, and teaching them history, knowledge that will be causing separation between you and somebody that is already ahead.
Okay,
somebody that has the power to make you grow.
Okay.
You know, and not because life now, the most important thing to me, I believe, is growth.
Okay.
So as an African, the fact that we have even been cheated, a cumbersome part of our lives was taken away from us. That's the most reason why I feel and I believe that history should be forgotten. So, but let's hear what you have.
Let me give you a story.
Okay.
So with that story, you'll be the judge to the story. Then with that, I would know if truly you believe that history, such history, especially the history of as 400 years of slavery, should not be taught to our kids. Now, I'm going to use you as an act in that story and use myself. Now, we are both young men trying to figure out lives and make ends and make our future, the future of our family, great. Now, on your own course, you got a contract, a 20 million naira contract. Out of the 20 million naira contract, you are expected to use 15 million to run the contract, and 5 million naira is your gain on the contract. So you got the contract and you called me, you told me, my guy, they give me contract to that company where I don't write letter to, they don't give me this contract to, my life don't change. I don't make am like this. If I don't finish that contract, that 5 million, I use that mental textile business, make I change my life. My papa kukuma get wool farm, I go just dey run clothes dey go like that. So when you told me, instead of me to be happy with you, I feel like, guy, make I join you, make we run am now. Then I went back to my place, called some guys, tell them that I get one guy, he don collect contract 20 million, make I go help me collect am from your hand. Then those guys came to your house, they collected the money from you, they gave it to me. Now you are now in debt of 20 million. Remember, you are supposed to use 15 million to do a project in that 20 million. Now you no only owe, you owe a project now. So they brought the money to me, I settled those ones, they went their way, I took the money, I started investing in what you said you wanted to invest in. I started investing in textile. My textile company was booming, everything was going well while you are in debt. Now you don't have anybody to run to, you don't have anybody in Lagos, you just came to Lagos yourself trying to make ends. It's still me you have. After you've made your research and you've discovered that I was the one who sent those people, but you don't have evidence to persecute me, so you could not persecute me. So you came to me, my guy, abeg, I don chop gbese on top this my project, abeg, borrow me money, make I take run this my project, abeg, I go pay back. Then I told you, how much do you want borrow? You said you want to borrow 15 million to clear the project. So I told you, I'll borrow you 15 million, then you pay me back 30 million naira. I hope you are killing me down. You pay me back 30 million. Now I'm giving you times 2 of the debt. So you borrow the money out of desperation just to clear that project because the company are on you, everybody are on you. So you clear the project, you now have how much to pay me back? 30 million. So you started working. I never gave you a job. You started working, you started busting your ass out to make this money. As you're making this money, you are paying me back every day. In the midst of that, I had my children, I had my family. You also had your children, you had a family. So you are trying to provide for your home, your 3 kids. I also have my family, I have 2 kids that I'm providing for. So every day, your family eats from hand to mouth. They drink garri in the morning, they don't eat in the afternoon, they drink water at night, they are surviving. So one particular day, your wife and 2 of your kids visited my house. That this our daddy friend, shey that man, our papa talk say dem be friend. Why you no dey go in house where our papa go dey say, don go to my brother's house o, don go to that my friend house o, don go to Marek's house o, don go to his house o, just stay here o, enjoy what you have here o, here is the best for you o, this and that o. Maybe go that im friend house today sef, wey fine, wey we dey only look for road. Then they came to my house, it was just like a palace, everywhere neat and sparkling. When they came, they gave them food, gave them meat, they ate, everything was free of charge. They cut their hair for them, they gave them clothes, gave them sneakers. And when they were even going, I gave them money. Take. What's how much is your school fees? 10,000. Take 12,000. How much is your market money? 20,000. Take 22,000. So I gave them money. When they got home, you became useless to them. So you went to your workplace as usual. You collected your salary as usual, you send it to me. As usual, 80%, I'm always collecting it every month from you because you have to pay me your 30 million. So you sent 80% of your salary as usual to me. The remaining 20%, you took it home, you started your complaint again. We have to manage, we have to do this. Then your wife snapped you. Like, why are you a lazy man? Look at your friend. Look at his house that we went to yesterday. Everywhere nice. They showed you pictures. See your mates. Everywhere clean. Everywhere is nice. Everywhere is looking good. Look at his children. See how they are fine. See how they are fresh. See the schools they are going. See the cars they are entering. When my child go there, you have never in your life give this child 100 naira. My child went there, gave my child 10,000 naira. Once, one sitting. Once when I tell am say I wan do business like this, he give me 22k. For your life, you never give me anything. They started shouting. Then the next action, your wife took your son, which is the eldest, the most brilliant in your family. He is the most brilliant. He has started putting up machine, doing this small electrician wey all these small boys dey do. You are feeling like, okay, this boy grow become electrician, he go do things wey go change my life. Then he took the son, like, na that your friend house I dey go, I'm going there, I'm going to live there till you figure out your life. What will you do as the man to stop that act?
Is to explain to them.
That is history. Now that history you are explaining to them, you will explain to them, right? You now start from where what I did, that the money I have today is your money. Won't you say that? You will. The money is, you get them. That your friend. Whether my friend know that they talk say you do good. Oh yeah, sit down. Make I tell una wetin happen. Where I dey keep from una since all these days. So time when I collect contract, now this guy carry gang come my house, collect my money. Every day that I'm working, that is looking like I'm not doing anything in this house, 80% of everything I earn is going to this man. It is 20% that we are using to survive, and I'm still going to pay him till the next 30 years. That is how much I owe him from my own money that is stolen from me. You will tell them all that, and one of the reasons why you will be so scared is because your brain, which is your first son, is also dreaming. So why are we now saying that our forefathers or our elders should not teach us the story when the children that are coming up? Imagine you giving birth to a child today, an African child. He will immediately start seeing the whites as superior people, because when you watch Disney Junior, you watch Nickelodeon, and you look at how life is over there, you'll be like, why everything come dey like this for here? Where minimum wage low? But for that side, see how much they collect. $1 now, almost 1,500 naira. Imagine how it take be. So the only way to let those people know that this was what transpired is by telling them their story. Now, the example I gave to you is just one example of what transpired between we and the Europeans in the early days. Even many African children do not know that civilization, technology, everything, mathematics, in fact, astrology, everything started in Africa. Medicine, it started in Africa. So many people don't even know. Polymath, it started in Africa. And many people don't even know. So
astrology started in Africa.
Yes, it was the Nubians, the Egyptians that started counting the stars, started checking if there will be rain. So that was where astrology started from. Medicine was started. The father of medicine is Imhotep. You can go and check it in Greek mythology. He's an African. He was the one who designed one of the pyramid. Also, is this thing, what do they call these guys that draw plan of house? Architect. He's one of the oldest architects in history. That Greek mythology called hypothetics. That is what they call him in Greek mythology. He's an African, he's a black man. If you search Imhotep on your phone, you see the image of a black man. So those things are things many African kids do not even know. They just think because we are black, we are caused, or Africa is just like a desert. I've had one guy asked me before when I was in the class. I was offering the class to some students, and he told me that just time when there is Jesus, say Yoruba land dey. I was just like, Jesus, like, what is this? See, they think we don't exist till like during those slave trade period. Like they think like we are just in the bush, like they think we are animals. So the only way to let those people know that no, we were once the world power. Before these people came with their trick, with their divide to rule system, with their war machines, and took over the land and turned it to what it is today. So we are just trying to to come back from those spoils. So the way you as a father would want to protect your home by telling your home the story of why your home is like that is the same way that we historians would always want to tell the children why they are in the position that they have today.
Okay, that's a very valid point, valid example. But the reason why somebody like me still will still always want to stand against history is because somebody like me, for example, you know, if I'm in the shoe of the person that his father is the poor man that was cheated, right? And my father tell me that story about this other person, what would that cause automatically?
Now, this is it. That is why I said history needs to be treated correctly. Now, if you are told that story, if you are told that story, the first thing that comes to your mind is dislike towards that person, which is justified.
Dislike and revenge.
Which is justified. Now, revenge is different. Now, the revenge that your father did not take, you the son do not even have the capacity to take it. Now, if you want to take that revenge, instead of revenge, what our own leaders now wanted to do was revolution. So the child is not going to take revenge. He's an African child. He's the child of the soil. We don't take revenge. Instead, we revolutionized. Now, how can the child revolutionize? By becoming that engineer that he wants to become, by becoming a stronghold and lifting his father out of that poverty instead of running away from his father's home. That is revolution. And that was what our African leaders, people like Muammar Gaddafi, people like Julius Nyerere, people like Patrice Lumumba, people like Mandela, people like Nkrumah, people like Martin Luther King Jr. in celebration of him today. A lot of people like Malcolm X, a lot of people like that. That was what they wanted to do, to revolutionize Africa, to bring back our pride. But what is now the problem? These same people who put us in that position made sure those people were killed, lifted propaganda against those people, published lies against those people, and make those people become unalived. So that is why those history cannot be forgotten, because if it is just about what has happened there, imagine you now when you tell your child that story and your child be like, okay daddy, don't worry, I'm going to save from this poverty, this engineering stuff that I'm doing, I just need an engineering kit, just buy me this kit. He browse it, he show you, so you work hard, you bought him those kits, then he started making, then he made one small robot and some people saw it and they liked it and they pick it up and they pick the child up, created a company for the child, that the child start producing that particular machine for them in large scale. Automatically you have been lifted from that barrier. Now when that your friend now still saw that my friend pikin wan comot out for this thing, then now went to go and plant weed in your son's company, he come call this thing with MDLEA. They just come, you don put cocaine, put everything for there, they just come want to search your son wey no do anything now, like search. They enter the company, when they comot machine they see cocaine full inside, arrest your son. What will you do? Your only hope.
But there is no situation like that happen now.
Go and search the death of somebody like Patrice Lumumba, the death of Gaddafi, go and search the death of Nyerere, go and search the death of Nkrumah. It was the same people who pushed propaganda against them. They pushed propaganda against Gaddafi that he wanted to be the weapon of mass destruction, that he wanted to support these Islamic jihadists to fight against Israel. That was the propaganda they pushed against him, that got him killed by his own people. Patrice Lumumba,
he was killed by his own people.
Yes, because they were scared of a world war.
Okay. If
they did not put propaganda of that, his people were, Libya was one of the best country under him. They were having the highest minimum wage in Africa. They were living where they were controlling their economy. But because they started hearing that their president wants to start a world war, they don't want to die. So the only reason is to raise another party that was an opposition party who raised up army and they got him killed. After they got him killed, they discovered all was a lie. Someone like Patrice Lumumba too, the same propaganda was preached against him. After what do they call them? This country, after they gained independence, Congo, after they gained independence, just because of Congo was so rich in mineral resources, and they knew Patrice Lumumba already knew, and he wanted to control it for the betterment of Africa. He wanted to create an African bank, an African union. They got him killed for the charge of treason. So a lot of them like that, Nkrumah in Ghana, because of Ghana's gold. Because Nkrumah want to stop the Europeans from getting to Ghana gold. He wants to control the Ghana gold for the betterment of the Ghanaians. They pushed propaganda against him. They brought the American CIA in. They got him killed. And a lot like that happened.
And all these people was killed by their own people.
With propagandas from.
So you see, points like this is the reason why. Okay, maybe it might be wrong to say we should forget history, but it should be taught correctly,
yes,
properly, and also it should not be it should not be a point of focus. A matter of focus. Why? Because history is always the past. Whatsoever has happened in history, it happened in the past.
And don't forget that whosoever forget the past, yes, is setting himself up to make the mistakes of the past.
They do say the past is the foundation to today. It's the foundation that holds today. Sure. So we need to definitely know it. But then we don't need to focus on it, because, for example, the people that killed those Patrick Lumumba, for example, were his own people, but they were not enlightened, right? They were deceived.
Yes.
Let me use that word, deceived. They were deceived. But if these same people now know more,
that is why you need to teach them their stories. Imagine if you teach a Congolese what Leopold II did to his people. He would never kill somebody that wanted to liberate him from them. He killed Leopold II. To me, is the world's most wicked man, and he's not even in top 5. He killed over 15 million Congolese just because he wanted to take over the land, because of how rich Congo is. Many people underestimate how rich Congo is. You need to go and research on how rich that country is. He killed over 15 million of them, cutting their limbs, cutting their legs, cutting their ears, killing them like animals, killing them the way you can't even kill animals. After he did that people saw it was cruel, the country, Belgium, took over Congo from him and started still exploiting them. Now there came a man who is bold enough, collected the country from them, collected independence from them, started ruling them, started controlling all the means of economy, putting the Congolese in every position.
Belgium came to collect Congo from
Leopold. Leopold was a king.
Okay.
In Belgium.
King of Belgium.
Yes, he was the king. So he took Congo as his personal property. So when they saw his cruelty was too much, they now turned Congo to the state's property, so that the cruelty will reduce. So imagine if you can teach a child that, will that child let anybody come and brainwash him that this your president is autocrat, is a kinecocrat, is a mumocrat, go and kill him, let us come and rule the people, we are good people? Because those people don't know their story. That is why they are brainwashed. They don't know who put them in the situation they are. But the people who they grew up to know is their fellow black man. Now the bigger problem is now when they kill the uprights, they will now make sure they install the wicked that will now suffer those people, that will punish them, so that those people can see them as their only savior. And that is the problem happening in Africa. When a leader comes up and the leader is trying to be like, okay, I'm anti this, I'm anti that, let's rule ourselves, let's tax ourselves, let's bring out best out of ourselves, you see it. Small time, you see a very strong opposition will arise, that will always tackle everything he says, an opposition that always support what the European says. Then we all gullible people, we will see that this one, what he's saying is better than what this man is doing now. What this man is doing is ash now. If America does not want to give us visa, he bans it. He this one, and UK talk one thing, he bans their visa. He's like, me I want to go to UK. Is this man that say if you enter, he will give us UK, then me I will go for foolish people. So in order to reduce the level of foolish people in Africa, we need to let them know who they are, but correctly, as you said. Not teaching history to fuel war, to fuel hatred, but to teach history to boost people's morale, their esteem, and to make them do more for themselves, to make them know that they have a long way to go in order to survive back the country, to survive back the continent. That is the reason why we should teach history.
Okay, that's a very amazing one. So I think with this conversation we have had, we are able to prove the point or come to a conclusion that history should not just be taught,
it should be taught correctly
or forgotten,
yeah.
but instead it should be taught correctly, properly.
Yes.
Because history, especially African history, because it has many dark sides,
Yeah.
people always see it as a barbaric history.
Sure.
But once it is taught properly, like the other day we were talking about the killing of twins in Calabar, and then I said it was that Mary Slessor, and you said it was not them, that it was the people,
the mother of the twins,
who actually agitated for it,
yes.
And then she was like the head,
yes, of the agitation.
So that's just how history should be taught. It should not just be taught one-sided, because that history, for example, it would look like the blacks were killing their twin.
Yes.
Then the whites came to save them.
Jesus Christ.
Hence, black is evil,
then white is
good. So you see, reasons like this is the reason why somebody like me will say it should not be taught. But if we understand history and teach it properly,
yes,
then I think I'll support the motion of history being taught.
Then probably we should discuss with our fans on some misinterpreted history.
Yes.
Then correct those.
Yes. In anybody watching this, in the comment section, you can put any history that you feel that was taught to you wrongly. Anything you feel that is in the history books, and you know, and you have known, and because of that, you have seen yourself as a lower person, and comment it down there. And also, on our next session, we'll be talking about I have another question in mind, and I want us to talk about it on our next session. And the question now is, currently in these our days,
yeah,
right? In this our generation, our time in general, you know, let me start the topic from the beginning. In the past, we were made to believe that the Europeans were our colonizers and they enslaved us. Mm-hmm. So they are just like more or less like our problem.
Yeah.
Then, can we still say the same now? In this our generation, can you still say the Europeans are still your problem? The whites are still your problem?
50%, yes.
So in the next session, we'll talk about it, and then we'll see if they are or not. So, and one important thing that I want to say to people is that history is good, it's important, but then it should not be a drive. It should not be something that dictates our direction. We should just know it as a precaution to life. So history is just like a precaution to life. Like for example now, the Congolese story, they were made to, they deceived them and made them kill their president. Once you know that when somebody is coming with a deceitful word, you already know that okay, this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to turn me against my brother, turn me against my sister, and all that. And one important thing, as a black man, you are not inferior.
You should know that.
You are not inferior.
You are the aboriginal.
Exactly. That's why if you go to US today, UK, you see best doctors, black, best this one,
yes,
black, because we are the originals, like they say. So we are glad to bring you to the end of this section, and I hope you learned one or two from it, and we'll see you guys in our next section. I remain your humble host, Mr. Vix, and my everyday guests,
Morex. Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.